Jesus knew that his hour had come, and he must leave this world and go to the Father. He had always loved his own who were in the world, and now he was to show the full extent of his love. The devil had already put it into the mind of Judas, son of Simon, to betray him. During supper, Jesus, well aware that the Father had entrusted everything to him and that he had come from God and was going back to God, he rose from the table, laid aside his garments, and taking a towel, tied it round him. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet and to wipe them with a towel. When it was Simon Peter's turn, Peter said to him, "You, Lord, washing my feet?" Jesus replied, "You do not understand now what I am doing, but one day you will." Peter said, "I will never let you wash my feet." "If I do not wash you," Jesus replied, "you are not in fellowship with me." "Then, Lord," said Simon Peter, "not my feet only. Wash my hands and my head as well." Jesus said, "A man who is bathed needs no further washing. He is altogether clean, and you are clean, though not every one of you." After washing their feet and taking his garments again, he sat down. "Do you understand what I've done for you?" he asked. "You call me Master and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Then if I, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. I have set you an example. You are to do as I have done for you. In very truth I tell you, a servant is not greater than his master, nor a messenger than the one who sent him. If you know this, happy are you if you act upon it. I'm not speaking about all of you. I know whom I have chosen. But there is a text of Scripture to be fulfilled. He who eats bread with me has turned against me. I tell you this now before the event, so that when it happens you may believe that I am what I am. In very truth I tell you, he who receives any messenger of mine receives me. Receiving me, he receives the one who sent me." After saying this, Jesus exclaimed in deep agitation of spirit, "In truth, in very truth, I tell you, one of you is going to betray me." The disciples looked at one another in bewilderment. Whom could he be speaking of? One of them? One of the disciples whom he loved much was reclining close beside Jesus. So Simon Peter nodded to him and said, "Ask who it is he means." That disciple, as he reclined, leaned back close to Jesus and asked, "Lord, who is it?" Jesus replied, "It is the man to whom I give this piece of bread when I have dipped it in the dish." Then after dipping it in the dish, he took it out and gave it to Judas, son of Simon Iscariot. As soon as Judas had received it, Satan entered him. Jesus said to him, "Do quickly what you have to do." Do quickly what you have to do. No one at the table understood what he meant by this. Some supposed that as Judas was in charge of the common purse, Jesus was telling him to buy what was needed for the festival, or to make some gift to the poor. As soon as Judas had received the bread, he went out. It was night. When he had gone out, Jesus said, "Now the Son of Man is glorified, and in him God is glorified. God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and he will glorify him now. My children, for a little longer I am with you. Then you will look for me, and, as I told the Jews, I tell you now, where I am going you cannot come. I give you a new commandment. Love one another. As I have loved you, so you are to love one another. If there is this love among you, then all will know that you are my disciples." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, where are you going?" Jesus replied, "Where I am going, you cannot follow me now, but one day you will." Peter said, "Lord, why cannot I follow you now? I will lay down my life for you." Jesus answered, "Will you indeed lay down your life for me? I tell you in very truth, before the cock crows, you will have denied me 3 times. Set your troubled hearts at rest. Trust in God always. Trust also in me. There are many dwelling places in my Father's house. If it were not so, I should have told you. For I am going there on purpose to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I shall come again and receive you to myself, so that where I am, you may be also. And my way there is known to you." Thomas said, "Lord, we do not know where you are going, so how can we know the way?" Jesus replied, "I am the way. I am the truth. And I am life. No one comes to the Father except by me. If you knew me, you would know my Father too. From now on, you do know him. You have seen him." Philip said to him, "Lord, show us the Father, and we ask no more." Jesus answered, "Have I been all this time with you, Philip, and you still do not know me? Anyone who has seen me has seen the Father. Then how can you say, 'Show us the Father'? Do you not believe that I am in the Father and the Father in me? I am not myself the source of the words I speak to you. It is the Father who dwells in me doing his own work. Believe me when I say that I am in the Father and the Father in me. Or else accept the evidence of the deeds themselves. In truth, in very truth, I tell you, he who has faith in me will do what I am doing, and he will do greater things still, because I am going to the Father. Indeed, anything you ask in my name I will do, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you ask anything in my name, I will do it. If you love me, you will obey my commands. And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another to be your advocate, who will be with you forever, the Spirit of truth. The world cannot receive him, because the world neither sees nor knows him, but you know him, because he dwells with you and is in you. I will not leave you bereft. I am coming back to you. In a little while the world will see me no longer, but you will see me. Because I live, you too will live. Then you will know that I am in my Father, and you in me, and I in you. The man who has received my commands and obeys them, he it is who loves me. And he who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and disclose myself to him." Judas asked him, the other Judas, not Iscariot, "Lord, what can have happened that you mean to disclose yourself to us alone and not to the world?" Jesus replied, "Anyone who loves me will heed what I say. Then my Father will love him, and he will come to him and make our dwelling with him. But he who does not love me does not heed what I say. And the word you hear is not mine, it is the word of the Father who sent me. I have told you all this while I am still here with you, but your advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you everything and will call to mind all that I have told you. Peace is my parting gift to you, my own peace, such as the world cannot give, such as the world cannot give. Set your troubled hearts at rest and banish your fears. You heard me say, I am going away and coming back to you. If you loved me, you would have been glad to hear that I was going to the Father, for the Father is greater than I. I have told you now beforehand, so that when it happens, you may have faith. I shall not talk much longer with you, for the prince of this world approaches. He has no rights over me, but the world must be shown that I love the Father and do exactly as he commands. So up, let us go forward. I am the real vine, and my Father is the gardener. Every barren branch of mine he cuts away, and every fruiting branch he cleans to make it more fruitful still. You have already been cleansed by the word that I spoke to you. Dwell in me as I in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself, but only if it remains united with the vine. No more can you bear fruit unless you remain united with me. I am the vine and you the branches. He who dwells in me as I dwell in him bears much fruit, for apart from me you can do nothing. He who does not dwell in me is thrown away like a withered branch. The withered branches are heaped together, thrown in the fire and burnt. If you dwell in me, and my words dwell in you, ask what you will, and you shall have it. This is my Father's glory, that you may bear fruit in plenty, and so be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Dwell in my love. If you heed my commands, you will dwell in my love, as I have heeded my Father's commands, and dwell in his love. I have spoken thus to you so that my joy may be in you, and your joy complete. This is my commandment. Love one another as I have loved you. There is no greater love than this, that a man should lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I call you servants no longer. A servant does not know what his master is about. I call you friends because I have disclosed to you everything that I heard from my Father. You did not choose me. I chose you. I appointed you to go on and bear fruit, fruit that shall last, so that the Father may give you all that you ask in my name. This is my commandment to you. Love one another. If the world hates you, it hated me first, as you know well. If you belong to the world would love its own. If you belonged to the world would love its own. But because you do not belong to the world, because I have chosen you out of the world, for that reason the world hates you. Remember what I said, a servant is not greater than his master. As they persecuted me, they will persecute you. They will follow your teaching as little as they have followed mine. It is on my account that they will treat you thus, because they do not know the one who sent me. If If I had not come and spoken to them, they would not be guilty of sin, but now they have no excuse for their sin. He who hates me hates my Father. If I had not worked among them and accomplished what no other man has done, they would not be guilty of sin, but now they have both seen and hated both me and my Father. However, this text in their law had to come true. They hated me without reason. But when your advocate has come, whom I will send you from the Father, the Spirit of truth that issues from the Father, he will bear witness to me, and you also are my witnesses, because you have been with me from the first. I've told you all this to guard you against breaking down of your faith. They will ban you from the synagogue. Indeed, the time is coming when anyone who kills you will suppose that he is performing a religious duty. They will do these things because they do not know either the Father or me. I have told you all this so that when the time comes for it to happen, you may remember my warning. I did not tell you this at first because then I was with you, but now I'm going away to him who sent me. None of you asks me, where are you going? Yet you are plunged into grief because what I have told you. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is for your good that I am leaving you. If I do not go, your advocate will not come, whereas if I go, I will send him to you. When he comes, he will confute the world and show where wrong and right and judgment lie. He will convict them of wrong by their refusal to believe in me. He will convince them that right is on my side by showing that I go to the Father when I pass from your sight. And he will convince them of divine judgment by showing that the prince of this world stands condemned. There is still much that I could say to you, but the burden would be too great for you now. However, when he comes, who is the Spirit of truth, he will guide you into all truth. For he will not speak on his own authority, but will tell only what he hears, and he will make known to you the things that are coming. He will glorify me, for everything that he makes known to you, he will draw from what is mine. All that the Father has is mine, and that is why I said, everything that he makes known to you, he will draw from what is mine. A little while, and you see me no more. Again, a little while, and you'll see me. Some of his disciples said to one another, what does he mean by this? A little while, and you'll not see me, and again a little while, and you'll see me? And by this, because I am going to my Father? Jesus knew they were wanting to question him, and he said, are you discussing what I said? A little while, and you will not see me, and again a little while, and you will see me? In very truth, I tell you, you will weep and mourn, but the world will be glad. But though you will be plunged in grief, your grief will be turned to joy. A woman in labor is in pain because her time has come, but when the child is born, she forgets the anguish in her joy that a child has been born into the world. So it is with you. For the moment you are sad at heart, but I shall see you again, and then you will be joyful, and no one shall rob you of your joy. When that day comes, you will ask nothing of me. In very truth I tell you, if you ask the Father for anything in my name, he will give it to you. So far you've asked nothing in my name. Ask, and you will receive, that your joy may be complete. Till now I have been using figures of speech. A time is coming when I shall no longer use figures, but tell you of the Father in plain words. When that day comes, you will make your request in my name, and I do not say that I shall pray to the Father for you, For the Father loves you himself, because you have loved me and believe that I came from God. I came from the Father and have come into the world. Now I am leaving the world again and going to the Father." His disciples said, "Why, this is plain speaking. This is no figure of speech. We are certain now that you know everything and do not need to be questioned. Because of this, we believe that you have come from God." Jesus answered, "Do you now believe? Look, the hour is coming, has indeed already come, when you are all to be scattered, each to his home, leaving me alone. Yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. I have told you all this so that in me you may find peace. In the world you will have trouble. But courage, the victory is mine. I have conquered the world."
For thine is the kingdom and the power